So say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Kate Russell and I work on BBC's Tech Show Click. I get to surf the internet and get paid to do it, and one day they're going to discover that I'm actually for free. But in the meantime, it finances a lifestyle where I'm very much involved in technology, and my love of technology started when I was just 11 years old. I share a birthday with my brother, who's 2 years older than me, and he got his birthday a BBC microcomputer. I got a Barbie doll at the stable, which I thought at the time was actually a really good deal. But a couple of weeks later, the leg had fallen off my Barbie doll horse, and my brother was still sitting there tapping away, learning to program his BBC microcomputer. The first game we played was Elite, which was a line-drawn 3D universe, and I just remember looking over his shoulder and just thinking, wow, there is a box, not much bigger than a box of oranges, sitting on the desk, and inside this box is a world which doesn't seem to have any kind of edges to it. You could fly continuously through this world, and I used to jump on the computer whenever I could. Whenever he wasn't around, I'd be on there, and I remember sitting for 3 hours one day, aged 11 years old, flying in one direction.
Just because you'd programmed that in.
If I could reach the end of it.
You did the same as me, so my little brother was exactly the same. He used to have the computer, and it was a Commodore 64 in my case. And it was one of those things where when he wasn't on it, I'd sneak on it, but it was a kind of secret one. Again, because the Barbie doll thing, you get given them by your parents, but saying that, like you, they got shoved in a cupboard most of the time, and I used to do all sorts of other bits. So.
Absolutely, and I think that really, I remember having a bit of an epiphany, you know, even at, I know it sounds a bit pretentious at age 11 to have a bit of an epiphany, but sitting there, looking inside the screen and just trying to comprehend how that relates to the world that I knew day to day, and the fact that there is something else going on inside this machine that was bigger than just the sum of the parts that made the space that it took up on the desk. And from that moment on, I just really wanted to know more and more about it. And unfortunately, I was chronically bad at any kind of academic structure. So I failed miserably in all subjects at school. You know, I didn't want to concentrate, I didn't want to follow the structure. I left school at 16. I eventually went into sales and ended up becoming part of a team that set up one of the first independent CD manufacturing plant in the UK when games started being manufactured on CDs instead of on floppy disks. And I was selling games manufacturing to games companies. That's what I did to earn a living. But you know, behind the scenes, you know, I built my first computer when I was aged 18 years old. You know, I was always spending my time tinkering with them, playing games, figuring out what I could do, what I could make them do for me. And getting into television and reporting was really a complete coincidence. It was just the sum of a load of different events. And actually one of my customers for the CD manufacturer dared me to phone up an advert. And I ended up on Nickelodeon. And then after that it was like, right, okay, I'm on Nickelodeon, I've always wanted to be a writer, I love technology, I love computers, I'm going to get a job on a magazine. So I wrote a couple of fake reviews, sent them around to a load of magazines and said, I'm on television, give me a job. And one of them did. And I ended up working for a publishing house on a new magazine. And that was my pathway into writing and working in the media surrounding technology. It was my love of technology that took me there. But that love of technology, and it's perhaps not a good advert for IT study, because I didn't study IT, not 100%, but I surrounded myself from a very early age with all of the tools and all of the books and the information that I needed to satisfy my thirst for knowledge in that area. Not through formal education, but through a desire to understand what it was that was making me feel this way.
Do you believe that today people can still do that?
I think they can, yes, definitely. I mean, the problem is today is that so many people are doing it that the roles that you might have 10 years ago, you might have applied for are oversubscribed. And the only way for the employer to try and whittle down the number of CVs that they get is by arbitrarily chucking out the ones that don't have the qualifications. And that is the problem today, is that now learning about technology on your own is so accessible that it's almost too accessible. And you've got to have that formal qualification structure to actually get your foot in the door. If you have another method of getting your foot in the door, like you've got a very, very forward and bubbly personality,
Or maybe some unpaid work experience or anything like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, my biggest advice I would give to anybody, and I do, people ask me all the time, not about technology, but they say, I want to work in television, I want to do what you do, how do I do what you do? Pick a company that does want to be involved eventually. Get in there no matter how you can, get in there any way you can, even if it's saying, I'm happy to come in and make morning teas for everybody for free and take the mail around. If you are there and you are in their space, when an opportunity comes up, you'll be there and able to take advantage of it. And so if you don't have that, the concentration levels to get the formal qualifications, I think that is still another way in, but you've got to be prepared to take that leap of faith. And just being there isn't going to do it. Just saying, I really want to do this, so let me do it, and I'm in your space now, so give me the job. Once you're in their space, you've then still got to make a difference. You've still got to prove yourself.
So you spoke today about the information pioneers, and you spoke particularly about Alan Turing. What was it that got you involved in this project, and what was it about him in particular that made you jump at it?
Well, I've known the BCS for a number of years. I've been involved with their Women in Technology seminars, and we did careers in IT. We sent films a few years back. So I've actually been a friend of the BCS for a number of years. And when they approached me and said, we're thinking of doing these films, I had a chat with them very early on, and said, oh yeah, well there's obviously a number of people who would instantly come to mind. Obviously Sir Tim would be one of them, and Turing would be another. And we kind of talked around a lot of ideas, but at this point it was just formulating the idea. And then they did the consultation, 150 listed, and then when James from Glasshouse contacted me and said, we'd really like you to present one, and if you're up for it, we'd like you to present Alan Turing, I was just like, I'm so on.
Nice.
Because, for me, fundamentally, you can't, I think I said in there, you can't attribute the invention of computers to any one single person. But I think there's a seed of an idea which was put down in a formal scientific paper in 1937, which came from the imagination of Alan Turing. It came out of the blue from his head, and it now defines what we consider to be the theory of computing. And every computer that you use, no matter how advanced it is, no matter how many things it's had added to it, how many programs it's had written for it, fundamental work of the machine is based on Turing.
So do you know what your strategy is going to be Otis? Because Otis gave us a little hint about what he's up to and trying to get the Girl Geeks on board. Are you going to manage to win the Girl Geeks off of him, and how are you going to do that? Because obviously you're representing a guy and he's representing the ultimate girl.
It's true, and we did actually have a conversation earlier on that it's going to end up being a bit of a battle of the societies. My society's got more members than your society. Because I got Bletchley Park behind me, I've got the Alan Turing Society behind me. You can lobby all sorts of different, you can lobby girls for Ada, but you can lobby the gay guys for Turing as well. There's all sorts of tricks and stuff. And I was speaking to one of the guys from the BCS, do we really want to, is it trivialising their achievement by actually relying on sexual or sort of stereotypes, gender stereotypes to try and gain votes? And I think it's valid actually, yes, because it's all a part of what makes them an interesting story. And that's all a part of what goes to making this a good publicity exercise that hopefully will inspire the next generation of information pioneers.
So, if you were to give advice to any girls or boys out there about getting involved with technology, what would you say to them? How would you suggest they got involved? What would you suggest as their starting point for an inspiration, so to speak?
I think if you have a passion, if you have a passion and a dream that all of these information pioneers, especially the 5 films that we've seen here tonight and that we'll be watching over the internet over the next couple of weeks, they all had an amazing idea, and almost universally they were all pretty much dismissive of their idea. Cordelia, a bit of a lunatic. Look at Hedy Lamarr in this situation. Hollywood star walking into the government and saying, "I can solve your problem with, sort of sending missiles." If you've got a passion and if you've got an idea, learn about how to solve it, learn about how to achieve it, and you have to, because of the likes of Tim Berners-Lee and the internet and the web, you have to tools in your bedroom to enable you to get at least part of the way on that journey. And even if you can't get all of the way on that journey, you can use it to connect with people who will help you go the rest of the way. So I guess I would just say if you want to believe in something or an interest in something, just don't give up and just keep going at it and find a way to get your foot in the door. And if you're really passionate about it, of course.
Thank you very much.